Hello, little witchlings and princelings, and welcome to your weekly Coven Summoning. My name is Ilsa.
And my name is Stacy.
And we're Caffeine and Conjuring,
a fantasy bookish podcast where we will discuss some of our favorite fantasy reads.
The final book of Throne of Glass starts today.
I'm not ready.
Blink, 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 blink.
Oh, I understand all of it now.
I was like, you didn't respond really to the meme that I sent you. I'm like, did she finish reading it yet?
I did. I was literally just about to ask if, is that something that comes up, future? But I literally just fucking clued in to that is, Fenris and Aelin. Oh my god.
Blink, blink, blink.
When I say I turn my brain off when I read, I literally turn my brain off. Oh my god. Okay, I understand it now. That's rough.
If you've been following along with us, we're starting Kingdom of Ash, so if you haven't already, make sure that you've read everything leading up to, or you'll most likely have stuff spoiled for you.
Yeah.
And into Kingdom of Ash, we're covering chapters 1 to 9. Plus the prologues, obviously, but...
Mm-hmm.
The Prince and the Princess.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
This makes my belly hurt. Knowing that we only have, so many episodes of this book, Tower of Dawn or Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, the tandem, felt like that was forever. There were so many episodes for that book.
Yeah.
And now this book, we have, 12 episodes?
Yeah.
We have 12 episodes for this book. And that doesn't feel like it's nearly long enough.
12 weeks until eternal heartbreak.
Oh. Oh.
I've said it once, and I've said it 1,000 times. This fandom is a prison.
Yep. It's an iron coffin.
So hopping right in, because these chapters are long, so our episodes are going to be long.
Yeah.
We have the first prologue, The Prince. This intro is basically Sarah J. Maas handing us Rowan Whitethorn, gift-wrapped in pure, relentless determination.
My wife.
We're dropped straight into Rowan's mindset after Aelin's capture. He is consumed by one singular purpose: finding and rescuing his mate, his wife, his Fireheart. Time has blurred for him, days turning into weeks, then into months, as he and his companions scour the world by land, sea, and sky, searching for any trace of her. Rowan knows he can't do it alone, though every instinct screams at him to fly off and hunt solo. He forces himself to remain with Aedion, Lysandra, and the rest of the cadre, understanding he'll need their combined magic, blades, and strategy to defeat Maeve, the queen who stole Aelin and shattered Rowan's soul. Between the searching, Rowan reaches out across their mating bond, sending hope and promise into the void where Aelin is imprisoned. I will find you. The whole thing serves as a powerful emotional reset. Aelin may be trapped, but Rowan has not and will not stop hunting until she is free. What a man.
Uh-huh. And then we get the princess. This section flips the camera from Rowan's frantic rescue mission straight into the nightmare dungeon where Aelin is being held captive. Plot-wise, it shows us that Aelin is imprisoned in the brutal combination of iron coffin, iron mask, chains, and Valg enchanted restraints that block her magic and smother her very essence. She's been taken to a tiny, isolated island temple in the middle of a raging river, a forgotten stone sanctuary now repurposed as a chamber of torture. Time has lost all meaning to her because Maeve used sweet, drugging smoke while transporting her, so she has no idea how long she's actually been suffering. Emotionally, we see how she survives it. The iron has drained the fire in her veins, leaving her feeling powerless and forgotten. To keep from breaking, Aelin clings to a familiar mantra. She tells herself a story over and over. Once upon a time, in a land long since burned to ash, there lived a young princess who loved her kingdom. That fairy tale becomes her lifeline, helping her resist revealing Terrasen's secrets, no matter how horrific the pain gets. And another cruel detail is that she's not alone. Aelin's forced to endure the torment under the gaze of a silent witness, a massive white wolf, magically chained to watch every scream and every fracture. This section ultimately reinforces Aelin's inner resolve. Even though Maeve, the Dark Queen, tries to blur truth and illusion, tries to twist Aelin's love for Rowan into a weapon against her, the princess refuses to yield. So we begin the final book knowing exactly where Aelin stands. Chained, tortured, stripped of power, but not of will.
So chapter 1 opens with Terrasen already buried in worry and in snow. The winter has arrived early, and Adie and Ash River is left holding the fate of the kingdom while Rowan and the others hunt for Aelin. Adie wrestles with the idea that the brutal weather might help them by slowing Morath's forces, even though he's not inclined to trust or thank the interfering gods who claim to rule their world. The story checks in on the state of Terrasen's war preparations. In the weeks since Adien reunited with his loyal Terrasen Bane, no major battles have occurred, but he suspects the calm is misleading. He believes Erewhon will strike in the dead of winter when his troops are the weakest, despite Darrow's insistence that Morath will wait for spring. Meanwhile, the allied fleets from Wendelin, Ansel of Briarcliff, the Whitethorn Royals, and the Silent Assassins have sailed into Terrasen and begun the difficult process of moving inland to the front, an effort now complicated by deepening snow. Emotional tension simmers throughout the chapter because Terrasen is still maintaining a dangerous ruse. For nearly 2 months, Lysandra has been pretending to be Aelin in order to keep morale intact and fool their allies. The deception has worked so far, but it weighs heavily on Adien, who's furious at Lysandra for lying to him and for the impossible role she's been asked to play. He can't quite forgive her or himself, yet he continues upholding the act because too many lives depend on it. The chapter's only real action comes when Adien and Ren Allsbrook take out a small Valk scouting party in a forgotten mountain pass. They capture one soldier alive for questioning, hoping to learn what Morath is planning. Even that small victory doesn't settle Adien's fears. If anything, it convinces him further that something bigger is already in motion. That suspicion is confirmed at dawn, when a letter from Killian arrives. Morath has made landfall at Eldris and destroyed the city with massive magical blasts, while also striking the allied fleet near Ilium. With enemy forces now positioned to march on Orinth within a week, Adien realizes the war has officially begun in Terrasen, and the kingdom must prepare to defend itself without the real Queen of Fire. The chapter ends with Adien shifting into practical planning mode, asking Lysandra how many soldiers she can carry in her wyvern form. It's a fitting close to the opener. The lies are about to be tested, alliances are being reshuffled, and Terrasen's desperate fight for time and for Aelin starts now.
Oh, starting off strong.
This book is fucked.
Chapter 2 shifts us from frozen, brooding Terrasen to the sun-baked southern continent. What a flip. Where Alid Locken is living out the travel dreams she once whispered about, just not in the way that she imagined. She now stands in an ancient city she can't even pronounce, accompanying 3 immortal males who have been moving at a brutal, unrelenting pace since Aelin was taken. The tone makes it clear that Rowan's rescue mission has become a world-spanning hunt for information, not just for Aelin herself. Alid worries constantly about whether trusting these Fae warriors was a mistake, but Gavriel proves to be unexpectedly gentle and protective, making sure she eats, stays warm, and can keep up on horseback. Above the alley where they wait, the sounds of thumping and shouting reveal the grim new method Rowan has devised. Since they can't track Maeve directly, Rowan and Lorcan have been hunting down her scattered commanders instead, breaking them for answers about Maeve's whereabouts. Alid is forced to witness this process, her emotions tangled in anger at Lorcan's earlier betrayal and fear for Aelin's ongoing suffering. Memories of that horrific beach in Eelway still haunt her, especially every time they pause. The chapter also reintroduces the mysterious presence of Aneith, the goddess who has been nudging Alid along. For weeks she heard only occasional reminders that someone was watching, but now Aneith begins whispering orders again, urging Alid to watch and listen as Rowan interrogates the commander. It was kind of a little, bone-chilling because it just kept saying, see, watch. I was just like, oh my god. Alid shivers despite the heat, grappling with whether the goddess's voice is trying to guide her towards helping the hunt or warning her of what the gods might do if she and Aelin refuse to pay the terrible ancient debt demanded of them. By the end of the chapter, Alid hardens her resolve to endure what must be endured, even as she wonders whether the real enemy in this hunt is Maeve, Erewhon, or the cold-blooded gods themselves pulling strings behind the scenes like unseen puppet masters in a very dark fairy tale.
So chapter 3, and it gives us a brutal check-in with Aelin, and this chapter pulls back the curtain on exactly how horrific her captivity has become. Kind of. Your face.
Oh.
The narrative lingers in vivid, painful detail on the experience of being stripped of her magic and sense of self by the iron that surrounds her. Trapped on a mist-veiled island within a forgotten stone temple, Aelin's days blur together under a relentless cycle of torture at Cairn's hands. She has no way of knowing how long she's been imprisoned or drugged into unconsciousness between sessions, and the uncertainty gnaws at her almost as much as her physical pain. Throughout it all, Fenris remains magically bound to witness everything, and he and Aelin communicate in a silent, blinking code they've crafted. His repeated 3 blinks asking if she is alright, her single blink defiantly insisting she is. To survive without breaking, Aelin clings to the story she tells herself again and again, a dark fairy tale of a princess who loved her kingdom, using those words as an anchor against Maeve's illusions and manipulations. Even weakened and isolated, she refuses to yield, refuses to swear the blood oath, and holds tightly to her rage and to her love for Terrasen. It's the emotional tone setter we needed for the podcast, too. Our Queen of Fire is in chains, enduring an impossible nightmare, but still fighting in the only way she can manage. And the book and our episode notes start with her whispered promise to herself, echoing louder than anything. She will not be broken. And our biggest turmoil is we are overtired.
Yeah. Chapter 4 splits its attention between 2 ticking clocks. Manon trying to build an army out of ghosts, and Dorian trying to find a way to save the world before it asks for the last remaining pieces of him. We drop into the White Fang Mountains where the cold is biting hard enough that even witches, who usually treat suffering like a competitive sport, have resorted to goat pelts just to keep functioning. The 13 find an old camp hidden on the leeward side of the peak, but has been abandoned since early autumn. It confirms what Manon already suspects. The Krakens are moving through these mountains, but they're staying just out of reach. The hunt has been going on for weeks, and there's a constant sense that they're being hunted right back by Iron Teeth patrols, mostly the Yellowlegs and Blue Bloods, forcing Manon to keep her people from engaging so they don't give away their position. The pressure is mounting because it's been nearly 2 months since Eelway, since Manon learned what the cost of sealing the word gate might be, and she's running out of time to do the one thing she's promised she'd do: find the Krakens and convince them to fight. That promise comes with its own cruel irony because the Krakens know her as the White Demon, the witch they've spent a century wanting dead, and Manon hasn't figured out how to say, "Surprise, I'm your queen," without it ending in arrows. Astrid, steady as ever, tells her the 13 will follow her anyway, and Manon quietly admits the real fear under all of her iron. She doesn't know if she deserves that kind of loyalty. Then the chapter pivots to Dorian, and it gets very King making questionable decisions alone in the dark, which is practically his brand at this point. He slips away from the sleeping camp, timing it around the witch's watches, choosing Vesta because she's more likely to flirt than report him. We get a blunt, unvarnished look at how Dorian's been surviving. He feels numb most of the time, except for the hard training the 13 have been putting him through, and the brief, savage intimacy he and Manon keep falling into when the pressure becomes too much. It isn't romantic in a soft way. It's two people who are unmoored, grabbing at something that makes them feel alive for a moment. And under it all, Dorian has already decided he's going to pay the price to forge the lock if it comes to that, because Aelin was willing to, and he refuses to do less. God forbid a man lets a woman do more than him. So he makes a plan. He performs a summoning the same way Aelin once did, only he doesn't call Elena. He calls King Gavin, using Damaris as the anchor.
Ooh.
When Gavin appears, the conversation is tense and sharp-edged, full of old power and newer desperation. Dorian asks the one question that matters: where is the third word key? Gavin initially refuses, whether because he's forbidden or because he doesn't want Elena's fate sealed is left tangled together. But Dorian pushes, calling out the selfishness of valuing one person over the lives of countless others. The exchange cuts both ways, because Gavin forces Dorian to confront what he'd choose if it were someone he loved versus the world, and Dorian can't dodge the emptiness left behind by Sorcia's death and everything he's lost. In the end, Gavin gives him what he can. The third key is at Morath. Surprise. He doesn't know where inside Morath, but he warns Dorian not to rush in unprepared. Morath isn't a keep, it's a hell. He tells Dorian to stay where he is, to wait until he's truly ready, and suggests Damaris can guide him toward truth when Dorian can't trust himself. Before he vanishes, Dorian asks one small, devastating question: whether he's human. And Gavin answers with a quiet kind of mercy. He's not the one who can tell him. So chapter 4 ends with Manon still chasing at people who might kill her on sight, and Dorian's holding a direction that feels more like a death sentence than a lead. The path forward is clearer now, but it's the kind of clear that makes your stomach drop.
Right into chapter 5. Rowan's search party is stuck in the worst possible place: uncertainty. 2 captured commanders have given them conflicting information about Maeve's location. One claiming orders came from Doranel, the other insisting they originated from a kingdom in the opposite direction. Sitting around a small fire outside a crumbling city, Lorcan turns the problem over and over again, knowing that every wrong decision costs Aelin another day in captivity. Elide is the one who finally voices what Rowan has been silently circling. Doranel makes sense precisely because it's obvious. Maeve has hidden impossible things before: entire fleets, Fae warriors, even her own movements, and Elide believes the Queen would trust her arrogance enough to keep Aelin close to home. Gavriel agrees that Doranel would give Maeve the advantage of immediate reinforcements, making any rescue attempt nearly suicidal. Lorcan counters with cold practicality. Acadia is only days away, Doranel is weeks, and arriving there exhausted could doom them all before they ever reach Aelin. Rowan makes the final call. They'll go to Acadia first. It's the fastest option, and speed is the only thing they can still control. The decision hits Elide hard, and her anger spills over onto Lorcan. After she storms away from the fire, Lorcan follows, attempting something he rarely does: honesty. He tells her he didn't push for Acadia to hurt her, that he wants to make things right. Alid throws his betrayal back in his face, reminding him of the moment on the beach when he crawled after Maeve after the blood oath was severed. Lorcan stops her with the truth that's been rotting inside him ever since. He wasn't crawling after Maeve. He was crawling towards Aelin, trying to reach her iron box while barely able to breathe. Alid doesn't forgive him, doesn't even acknowledge the confession, and when they return to the camp, Gabriel quietly confirms that Lorcan was telling the truth. Alid still says nothing, leaving Lorcan with the bitter knowledge that some wounds don't heal just because the truth is spoken. That night, Rowan dreams, and he knows it's a dream because Aelin is there. She stands across a vast dark chasm, older, settled, one hand resting on a rounded belly. Behind her are their children, a future Rowan can see but can't reach. Before he can move, a black wind sweeps through and destroys everything, ripping Aelin and the children away till nothing remains. Rowan wakes, shaken, heart racing, knowing the dream isn't just fear, it's a warning of everything he stands to lose. On watch beneath the stars, Rowan forces himself back into strategy. He considers flying to Dornell alone, but knows he'll need Lorcan and Gabriel's strength if he finds Aelin. The mating bond remains disturbingly silent, and Rowan suspects Maeve has dampened it the same way she once twisted his mind and memories. Anchoring himself in Goldrin and the constellations above, especially the Lord of the North pointing towards Terrasen, Rowan makes a quiet vow. They will go to Acadia, they will follow the next lead, and he will not return without his mate, no matter what the cost.
Ooh. Oh, yay. I have Chaos chapter.
Fitting.
I love Kale. I love Kale. I love Kale. Chapter 6 brings us back to the sea, where Kale Westfall is sailing north with the Kagan's fleet, feeling winter creep into his bones just as surely as Morath's war creeps toward Terrasen. Despite the sheer size of the armada behind them, and the impressive sight of Rook Riders launching into the skies, Kale can't shake the fear that they won't arrive in time, or that even this force won't be enough to stop Erewhon. They've stayed far from shore to avoid detection, but the secrecy has come at a cost. No news of Dorian, no confirmation of how Aelin's allies are faring, and no certainty about what they'll find when they finally make landfall. Irene joins Kale on deck, and the chapter softens briefly as we see them as newlyweds, still adjusting to the word wife, still finding warmth in each other amid the cold and looming war. Kale reflects on the reality of his injury. His spine will never fully heal, and while he's made peace with that, the life bond tying him to Irene terrifies him. If he dies in battle, she dies too. It's a risk neither of them can escape, and one Kale is painfully aware of as they prepare to rejoin a war already in motion. Then the focus shifts as Nesrin and Sartak take to the skies on a scouting mission. Flying north through heavy cloud cover, Nesrin struggles with the cold and with the weight of what her future now seems to hold. Sartak has staked his claim to the Khaganate with her at his side, a role she still doesn't feel suited for despite his unwavering certainty. Their flight turns grim when Falcon signals them inland, and they discover the truth waiting beneath the clouds. Fenarrow's northern plains have been burned to ash. Villages are gone, the land scorched not by battle, but by deliberate cruelty. Ahead, stretching for miles, an army marches, Morath's forces, or a devastating fraction of them, already advancing inland. Rather than retreat, Nesrin and Sartak dive toward a smaller group of soldiers moving ahead of the main host, choosing to engage. It's a decisive moment that underscores just how little time remains and how close the war truly is. The chapter closes with Irene below decks, counting and recounting medical supplies she already knows by heart. Hafiza gently reminds her that no amount of preparation will save everyone, that chaos and death are inevitable once the fighting begins. Irene insists she needs to be doing something, And though Hafiza assures her that her moment will come, Irene is left alone with a quiet, unsettling doubt she hasn't voiced to anyone yet. Her hand drifts to her stomach, lingering there, hinting at a new vulnerability and a new stake in the war. Little baby Kale.
And then in chapter 7, we open with Dorian unable to sleep, haunted by one brutal truth. The final word key is at Morath. He keeps walking with his hand at his throat, half expecting the collar to be back, and he knows getting anywhere near Morath will be nearly impossible. The 13 barely escape that place with their lives, and Manon has zero interest in returning, especially while their mission to find the Krakens remains unfinished. Gavin's words echo in Dorian's mind. The path will find you here. Whatever that means, Dorian is starting to suspect it won't be a straightforward road. Morning comes quickly, and the camp prepares to move. Dorian realizes that if there's any chance of delaying the 13 or convincing them to stay, it would have to come through Manon, Astrid, and Sorrel. But there's no opening. They're already debating where to search next, weighing mountain routes versus lowlands, cold versus trackability. Morath lingers dangerously close, and Manon clearly has no intention of bringing the word keys anywhere near it. Dorian tests Damaris with casual questions, confirming the sword's subtle but steady response to truth. But before he can push further, Manon gives the order to move on, north, away from Morath. And then everything goes sideways. Just when you think you're going to be done with the spiders, here we are again.
This one is extra special.
Yay. Abraxos suddenly roars and lunges, and the massive white bear erupts from the snow, charging straight for Manon. Dorian's magic reacts instantly, slamming into the beast just as it collides with his invisible grip. Light flashes and the bear shifts, but it's not Lysandra, it's something far worse. A colossal black spider, ancient and deadly, hissing Manon's name.
Ooh.
The spider reveals herself as the Rune, which is an unfortunate name, who once provided the spider silk for Abraxos' wings. Silk Manon stole, along with the spider's dignity, when she shoved her off a cliff. This time, the spider came prepared. Dorian holds her immobilized with magic as the 13 close ranks, and the confrontation turns sharp fast. The spider explains she gained her shape-shifting abilities by stealing decades of life and power from a merchant.
Ooh.
Ooh. Learning to wield the gift once magic returned to the world. Damaris warms in Dorian's hand, confirming every word is true. Just as Manon prepares to kill her, the spider drops something that changes everything. She's seen the Krakens. Recently. Close. Suddenly, killing her becomes less urgent. Dorian intervenes, insisting they keep her alive for now. Not out of mercy, but usefulness. The spider, calling herself Serene, shifts into human form to travel with them. Unsettling, but compliant. Manon bristles at Dorian's authority, but he stands firm, revealing a colder, more decisive edge, one that even the 13 pause to respect. As they prepare to fly, it becomes clear this encounter is the path Gavin warned Dorian about. Serene represents more than information about the Krakens. She may be the key to infiltrating Morath itself, using shape-shifting to slip inside unnoticed. Dorian knows it's dangerous, possibly suicidal, but the door is open now, and he intends to walk through when the moment comes. Manon orders the 13 into the air, declaring they'll reach the Krakens by nightfall. As they fly south, both Manon and Dorian keep their secrets close. Each is planning something, and neither is certain whether the other's gamble will save them or doom them all.
Why does everybody keep secrets in this book? Like, be a fucking team.
Because people die when secrets are revealed.
Maybe less people would die if everybody were on the same frickin' page. Okay, the long-ass chapter. Chapter 8.
And it's a fucking brutal chapter.
It is. Oh my god. It is. So we're back to Aelin in her captivity, beginning with her waking inside the iron box. It's as confining and airless as ever, but she quickly realizes something is different. The iron gauntlets have been removed from her hands. Whether Cairn forgot them or removed them after his last session doesn't matter much, because either way, the box doesn't budge when she tests it. The door opens soon after, and Cairn is hurried and tense, ordering Fenris out of the room and positioning guards around them. Fenris is immediately used as leverage. Cairn makes it clear that any attempt to resist will cost the wolf his life. Aelin doesn't fight when they hood her and lead her away, but she does what she's learned to do best. She counts steps, turns, listens to the river, tracks changes in the air and sound. Even now, she's mapping her surroundings, clinging to control where she can find it. This reminded me so much of the beginning of Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very
like
much so.
Yeah. Oh, we've come full circle. They move from the misty stone corridors into open air, and when the hood is removed, Aelin realizes exactly where she is. A veranda overlooking a roaring river in Dornell. Maeve waits there, composed and pleased, seated on her throne with a black wolf at her feet. This is deliberate. Maeve wants Aelin to see it all clearly. At Maeve's command, a crown is placed on Aelin's head. Mab's crown, her birthright. It's heavy, cold, and unmistakably symbolic. Not an honor, but another form of restraint. Then Aelin sees what waits for her on the stone floor, a carefully arranged circle of shattered glass. Without ceremony, Cairn forces her forward, bare feet, then knees, then calves are driven into the shards. Aelin bleeds immediately, and the pain is sharp and consuming. But she focuses on breathing, retreating inward, and enduring. Maeve watches and narrates, framing the moment as a kind of twisted coronation. Aelin kneeling in her crown at Maeve's feet. Maeve then turns her attention to Fenris and allows the black wolf beside her throne to shift. It's Connell, Fenris's twin. Maeve gives Connell permission to speak freely, and he does, unleashing years of resentment, blaming Fenris for their rivalry, for the blood oath, for choosing service over family. Fenris is unable to respond, trapped by Maeve's restraints, forced to listen as his brother tears him down. Maeve circles back to her demand, the word keys and the blood oath. Aelin's answer is silent defiance. When she finally responds, it's with a crude gesture rather than words. Maeve orders Cairn to continue, and the pain escalates until Aelin can no longer suppress her screams. As Aelin struggles to endure, Maeve delivers another blow, claiming she knows that Aelin is supposedly in Terrasen, rallying her forces with Rowan and the others at her side. A shapeshifter, Maeve says, has taken Aelin's place. So she knows. The implication is devastating. Not only has Maeve seen through their plan, but Rowan was not coming for her. He's doing exactly what Aelin asked, fighting for Terrasen. What she thinks.
It's so hard reading this and getting her inner monologue about, like, thinking that Rowan isn't coming for her. And, like, her still being glad about it. Like, she wants him to be in Terrasen. And she is literally being butchered and repaired. And doesn't know what's real, what's not real. And her whole torture is wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's very mental.
Yeah.
Like, I think Aelin can really stand up to physical torture, but it's the mental side of it all that's really gonna wear at her, I think. Maeve reflects calmly on war and destruction, explaining that the glass beneath Aelin was created by dragons long ago, burned into existence during an ancient conflict. The monsters that made it didn't survive. It's another reminder of how thoroughly fire wielders have been erased from the world. Then Maeve decides to escalate. She orders Connell to act. Connell approaches Fenris with a knife. Aelin tries to move, tries to speak, but she's restrained, bleeding, helpless. At the last moment, Connell turns the blade on himself, driving it into his own heart. Fenris's grief is immediate and raw as his brother dies in front of him beyond any chance of healing. Maeve declares that this is punishment. Something that belonged to her has been tainted, and so it has been destroyed. She tells Aelin there is no one coming to save her. As Karen prepares to drag Aelin away, she finds one last surge of strength. Using shards of glass, she stabs Karen in the neck and then hurls another shard at Maeve. It narrowly misses, grazing Maeve's cheek. For a brief instant, Aelin thinks she sees black blood, but it's gone almost as quickly as it appears. Maeve retaliates immediately. A dark wind closes around Aelin's throat, cutting off her air, and the chapter ends as Aelin loses consciousness once more. Oh my god.
Yeah.
We didn't get much with Connell, right?
No.
Like, was this our first time actually having him in book?
I feel like he was there like once.
Way back when she was there.
Like
okay.
when Aelin was in Dornell training.
Yeah, okay.
I think. The last chapter of the episode. And it opens in the aftermath. Karen has tied Aelin back to the altar and left her there, glass still embedded in her legs and feet, blood slowly pooling beneath her. When Fenris finally enters, he does so not as a wolf, but as a male, and the difference is immediate. His movements are hollow, his face slack with shock and grief, his eyes unfocused. Aelin knows something is terribly wrong before he even speaks. They communicate the only way they can. Aelin blinks to ask if he is all right. Fenris blinks back twice. No. Tears streak his face, and when Aelin reaches for him, he takes her hand without hesitation, gripping it like it's the only solid thing left in the world. She silently apologizes. He says nothing, just holds on tighter. Fenris admits he didn't know Connell hated him so deeply. The confession is quiet, stripped bare of anger, and that somehow makes it worse. Maeve has allowed him only a brief reprieve, enough time to remove the glass from Aelin's wounds before he's forced to return to his place, back under her control. He moves to tend to Aelin, but she stops him, not because she doesn't need the help, but because she needs him to stay like this for a little longer, as a male, as himself. That's when Aelin breaks. The pain, the loss, the realization that Roland truly isn't coming, it all catches up to her at once. She cries openly, unable to stop it, every sob sending fresh agony through her legs. Fenris misunderstands, thinking the glass is the worst of it, and promises to be quick. He retrieves the tools Karen left behind and begins pulling the shards free. The process is brutal. Flesh tears again with every piece removed, blood and salt filling the room as both of them cry silently through it. Aelin turns her head away, biting her lip to keep from screaming, and Fenris works with shaking hands, doing what little he can. They don't speak. There's nothing left to say. The chapter ends when the two of them sharing that quiet, unbearable moment, grief layered on pain, companionship reduced to touch, and presence alone, while the world outside continues on without mercy.
Ugh. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks Karen is going to have something to do with Aelin getting out of this. As, fucked up as that is. There's been multiple times that he either didn't put something back on her, or, I don't know, like just little things that felt like he was purposely forgetting stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it's just him like messing with her mind. But you're not allowed to react.
Nope.
uh
So how are we feeling after the first 9 chapters?
Well, we checked in on everybody, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think there was
Pretty
anybody left out. I think we got, yeah. Which is good. I'm glad that we managed to touch base with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody is obviously in hot water. It's a shit show.
Accurate.
Yeah. Oh my god. I don't even know what to focus on. Like, this book, like, I feel like there's just so many POVs that...
There is a lot. It does kind of get, like, the changes are a little less frequent as we go through. Kind of.
Okay. I guess until more of the parties converge.
Reunite.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I feel like once they all get, or if they ever all get in, like, one area again, it'll be a little easier to keep track of, like, where and what is going on.
Yeah.
Oh, my brain. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like, I did not want to stop reading.
It was really hard to stop.
Yeah. It really was. Especially leaving it on that, like, brutal, devastating couple chapters.
There was a TikTok I seen the other day and it said, would you rather take $1 million or lose all your memory of every game, book, and TV show you've ever witnessed?
Oh. And then, like, we could obviously reread.
Yeah, like you'd be reading it for the first time, essentially.
100%.
Yeah.
There's so many books that I just would want to just experience again for the first time.
Yeah.
Part of me is, like, really looking forward to rereading the first book again. But I'm afraid that once I finish this book, that I'm going to be devastated and I'm not going to want to go back. Should I just reread it now before I get to that point?
Might be smart. Might be smart.
Oh. Yeah. I don't think she's coming out of it alive. Yes.
Well, before next episode, make sure that you've read chapters 10 to 19 of Kingdom of Ash. And I don't want to necessarily cut discussion short, but spoilers will be revealed if we discuss more. So
you can't hold your tongue.
Until next week. Bye.
Toodles. And with that, our Coven summoning comes to a close. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And follow Caffeine and Conjuring on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date on our journey through Throne of Glass.
Every chapter, hear the call. Adventure.